Much to Rodolfo. I ask you to stay here,
Okay.
please. And I ask the other speakers to come up, please. Volker, Heinz, if you can come here. And I would like, of course, to thank the speakers for this important event. We grouped 5 speakers, important speakers, together for a Centro Studi Galileo event inside Cilventa, and I thanks Cilventa for giving us this opportunity. I'm open now for questions about this important topic, about the proposal. We have here Volker Franz about the amendments that we would like about the proposal. We have industries. We talked about how important is the European industry. We have a German and Italian industry here that are very important globally, internationally, because the F-gas revision wants to make importance to the European industry with the aim of the F-gas revision. And it's been a success till now. The European manufacturers are gaining from that. We hope to carry on in this direction. What is your view of this? Are you happy about how the F-gas regulation has been till now? And are you happy about how it's going, the F-gas revision? Question? Please, you can...
It's a question for you directly. I have a question for your presentation. The second slide, if you may share or you remember for sure. This is just a proposal of F-gas revision.
So yes, the proposal of F-gas revision, yes.
When this decision will take place, and which kind of focus you mean in the table on the second line? For me, it's not clear.
Okay, let me put back my presentation. My pleasure. So you're asking when is going to take place the F-gas revision? The proposal, of course. Yes, it's an idea. I think, Cornelius, you are better than me to say when it's going to be real, are you? About when it's going to be. What is the next process? Is that working? No? Only one? This one? I move it. I give you.
Thank you for this question. It is called the F-gas proposal, although I must say it's a bit more than that. It's a first step in the legislative procedure to come to a regulation, a binding European law by the end of next year, which implies that the Commission has to submit a proposal, adopt a proposal internally, and then submit it to the Council, so the representatives of the Member States, and the European Parliament. Both institutions then internally form their own opinion, propose changes to it, and do some modifications, and then in the last phase of the process, discuss it all institutions together to come to a final compromise conclusion, which is then the finally adopted act. So it is a very important step, the proposal, which is the basis for the negotiations among the two co-legislators, so the Parliament and the Council, so the Member States. And we are really at the beginning of this process. The proposal is discussed in Council currently, but also the Parliament has started its deliberations about. So it's a right moment to bring forward opinions and to have a chance to be heard in this process, which is indeed ongoing. Thank you. Yes, so this was a snapshot, only a very limited selection of newly proposed placing on the market bans, which concerns split systems, which both um, includes air conditioning and heat pump equipment. And we have also, yes, we have in the other categories also the plug-in air conditioners. So those are monoblock and movable equipment. But that's specified to the extent necessary in the table of the placing on the market band. Of course, the main driver is HFC phase down, which applies across without looking at the applications. Yes.
Your name and company?
Okay, if I may add to this, we could of course be cynical and say, well, those placing on the market prohibitions, they don't actually matter that much because the HFC phase down is so strict that you have to, you cannot use new HFCs in new equipment anyway. This being said, in our view, we have we have loads of bans also on refrigeration, etc. We have two very critical ones. One is indeed for splits, air conditioning system below 12 kilowatt capacity. One question we're asking ourselves, for example, is that capacity for heating or for cooling? So you have a couple of questions. What exactly does 12 kilowatt actually mean? And the other one is for plug-in, but also you call it self-contained air conditioning and heat pump equipment. So what the hell is self-contained air conditioning and heat pump equipment? You could think it's everything, well, we hope it means anything factory sealed, monoblock, right? But that needs to be clearly defined. But also for that, by the way, the date for provision is 2025, the proposed one. By 2025, all self-contained air conditioning heat pump equipment could only use refrigerant with GWP of less than 150. So this is the proposal on the table, and we'll have very interesting discussions going forward what this actually means.
Thank you very much for this discussion. I think it was very interesting, very good. Any other question? Question for the European Commission? I have a question for the European Commission. He knows what I'm going to ask. Alternative refrigerants are going to be Article 10 training for alternative refrigerants. So it means natural, synthetic. Are we talking also about certification on only about training? Because training is only something ephemeral. It can be everything. Training can be some books, your learnings, can be something. But certification is something specific, something on top of something that is already available, which is F-gas certification, which is working fine with 500,000 technicians certified. Are you talking about training or also certification?
So, the current F-gas regulation has already rules for requesting service or technicians to be certified on the basis of certain criteria defined. There is no obligation to pass training, but the certification shall cover everything which is deemed necessary to know. In the new proposal, we are not changing the scope of this certification requirement. It's still those who are working with gases covered by our regulation, the fluorinated greenhouse gases. And we are not requesting certification for someone who exclusively works with gases not covered by our regulation. That's for legal reasons. But we included knowledge about the alternative refrigerants as condition to receive this certification. So that's a difference which is currently debated, but I thought that was for tomorrow afternoon, I thought.
I anticipated. I had you here now, so I thought it was better to do it right now that you are here. Thank you, Chris, from Prozon, Poland.
So just just wanted to understand what will happen with the old certificate, and are we talking about completely new certificates to receive, or are we just saying the new guys entering the service market will have to go through the new requirements of the training, or all of us?
Thank you. Quick one. Then we have Mari Sakande, then last one.
Yeah. So the principle is, according to our proposal, all certificates remain valid. There are some discussions ongoing to which extent a certain update, a periodic update of some form of testing could be considered, but that's not in our proposal. But it's an ongoing discussion, and it's a bit too early to say where we actually land, because that was seen as important. First, to ensure that those actually active on the market can remain on the market, but secondly, that everyone does the necessary to keep with the growing or with the rapid development of technology.
Thank you, Cornelius. There is one more question from Mari Sakande, the president of the African Associations, 54 African associations in one group. As area, one group of Europe, UFRIARC, one group in Africa. Can you... Tanto hai la voce grossa, speak louder. Hai la voce grossa. No, vieni qua, vieni qua. Come here. I think it's better. Is it him? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Marco. Good morning, everyone. My question is from European Commission. As Marco just said, I'm the president of UTRIAC. UTRIAC is a union of African association attaching refrigeration and air conditioning. So as Italian, because I'm living also in Italy, I know in Europe we are doing a lot to have a green technology, but unfortunately the obsolete one finished in African market. As a commission, can you work also with African, because I know European Union has worked closely with African Union to develop lot of activity. Why not also in refrigeration sector or in our sector we can be helpful for the climate and also for the development of Africa? So have you, because in Africa, politicians think that the refrigeration sector is not a sector to develop, is a luxury. So we don't have a development of a cold chain. So my question is, any change that the European Commission can work with African one to develop refrigeration sector in terms of policy in Africa?
This one was a very easy one. Yes, we do. And we have ongoing project, the so-called ROCA, so in West Africa, working with some countries, volunteering. So that's a pilot. But we are constantly in the dialogue, and we are very active also in the framework of the Montreal Protocol to support the refrigeration sector, which is not a luxury, which is a basic need, in particular for your continent. Things like cold chain, but also the air conditioning in schools, hospitals, that's vital. So that we know, and we are happy to work with you. And I just said to Marco, he should arrange a meeting these days between us, because we have also some issues with spent equipment. What can we do about somehow fencing off waste equipment to be dumped in Africa? That was something which was addressed at the last meeting of the Montreal Protocol, and there we are more than willing to get in a good dialogue with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because after all is the whole. Wall is not a area, is a volume. So what's happening in Africa and Europe, we will smell it. So that right? Thank you so much.
I ask my colleague, we have still got 5 minutes? No, finish, 4 minutes. One last questions. Stepan, from Area, is one of the board of Area. Thank you, Stepan, for being here with us. Yours is the last one, yeah? A good one.
Thank you, Marco, for having me here. I would like to have maybe a comment on what you said about the certification, mandatory certification for alternative refrigerants, because I think if you ask the manufacturers here, the industry giants in Europe, and all the experts, all the associations, most of them, not maybe all of them, but I'm sure that most of them will tell you that the mandatory certification is a good thing on alternative refrigerants. And I think the European Commission should listen to the professionals in this industry.
Thank you. As I said, we do listen, and that's certainly something which is under the discussion currently. We have some limitations from a legal perspective, but we also funded with an EU budget initiatives of your
Works, yeah. It's part of it.
exactly
Real alternatives.
exactly the live project, and that's also another way to go. Why always having binding legislation, and to know about natural refrigerants will be criteria of survival of a servicing company. If they are not able to handle it, they will be out of business in a very few years. So that's also a reality where the market force will also contribute to a dissemination of the knowledge.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Volker. Thank you, Heinz. Thank you, Rodolfo. And thank you, Cornelius. Thank you so much. Thank you.